Hi there, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. So today I just want to show you guys how you can actually profit from correlation on the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ. Because as you can see here on the daily time frame, if we look at the NASDAQ, we can see it's super bullish. And we can also see the corrections in the NASDAQ, and it's very highly correlated to the S&P 500. You'll see the correlations are almost the same as well on the corrections, the pullbacks are also pretty much the same on both of these indexes. So what I want to do is I just want to take you through this week. So I'm going to drill down to the 30-minute time frame on both of these indices. So this is Friday, this will be Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and then Monday on the NASDAQ, and it'll be the same on the S&P 500. So you'll see the correlation right of, well, you can see this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and then Monday. So if we look at the start of the week on the S&P 500, it dropped, and then it basically the whole week it created higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so if we look at if we look on the H1, we can also see it's made all-time highs. All right, so on the NASDAQ, if we go to the H1, let's go to the H4. Let's go to the H4 on both of them. We can see the S&P 500 has made all-time highs. It's clearly broken this point over here, I think 2 weeks ago. We can see the NASDAQ is also pushing to make all-time highs. Now, if we go back to the 30-minute time frame, I just want to show you the correlation for this week, how I profited from one of these trades this week on the NASDAQ. So if we go to the beginning of the week on the S&P 500, we can see here that the market dropped, and as I said, it created higher highs and higher lows, and it made all-time highs. Again, it's just basically made all-time highs. So if we're looking at the S&P 500 from Monday all the way to Friday, we can see it dropped at the beginning of the week temporarily during Asian session. Then it started making higher highs and higher lows pretty much the whole week. We can see on the NASDAQ, from the beginning of the week it dropped. It made a high, but it actually made lower highs and lower lows up until Wednesday, up until the end of Wednesday. Now, if you understand the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, I'll just quickly take you to a website where you guys can actually see it explains how highly correlated the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 actually is. So if you come here into Google and you type in your S&P 500 NASDAQ correlation, and if you come to this website over here, or basically any one of these websites, but I just want to illustrate this on this website, it explains the correlation here between the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. And if you come down to here to this actual performance, you'll see how highly correlated both of these actual indices are. You can see that basically the only difference is that one is valued differently to the other in numerical value. But you can see how even the volatility contrast and just in general how correlated this pair is fundamentally and also technically. So back on the charts here, we can see from the beginning of the week to the end of the week on the actual S&P 500, you can see here on Tuesday it made all-time highs, Wednesday it made all-time highs, and you can see it's just super bullish and it's moving upwards. All right, so if we come here to the NASDAQ, we can see that on Wednesday it was still bearish. Okay, but the S&P 500 on Wednesday, which is in between here, we can see that it's still bullish. So in my mind, these two pairs fundamentally and technically on the long term, they super correlated. So what I did was on the NASDAQ, what I saw was that we can also see here that we right here at this 15,000 price handle. So NASDAQ is looking to break this actual price handle and move higher. So what I saw here actually on Wednesday, I saw multiple rejections over here. We can even see from here on Tuesday, we can definitely see that the NASDAQ is starting to reject this level, which is basically this round number. We can see that if we look at the H4 and that, we can see that NASDAQ has been playing around this 15,000 barrier, this mark, and it looks like it wants to break above it. So this is the H4 time frame for the week. We can see this in this period separator. So let's go back to the 30-minute time frame. So on Wednesday, I saw that the S&P 500 was still making higher highs and higher lows. So then on Wednesday, I saw these multiple rejections over here and over here. Okay, I hadn't seen Thursday's price action yet. So what I did was on Wednesday, right around at this point, I saw this bullish divergence. I just want to show you how I saw that. And I can also see all these multiple wick rejections. Even on the hourly, you can see these long wicks. We get a wick there, we get wicks here, wicks here. We can see definite rejection. And also knowing that the two pairs are highly correlated, it's more than likely that the NASDAQ is actually going to play catch up to the actual S&P 500. So if I take you to TradingView quickly. So here on TradingView, I came here to TradingView and I was looking for divergence on the RSI. The divergence is only one part of the strategy. There's a couple other things that we look for in the strategy that I teach in my course, but this is one of them, which is divergence. We can see here on the 30-minute time frame, we can see that price over here is clearly making lower lows. Okay, and we can see here that the actual RSI is diverging. Okay, so what actually I saw this, and also let me just go to this 1 hour time frame. I could also see the exact same place. I could see divergence also here on the hourly time frame. Okay, so we can see all these wick rejections, and we can also see divergence actually happening at the exact same place on the hourly time frame and also the 30-minute time frame. And we can also see that price is clearly rejecting this 15,000 price handle over here, right? As I marked off this 15,000 level, because the NASDAQ basically moves in every 5,000 pips. Every 500 pips, it basically moves in segments of every 500 pips. So if we look at, I just want to show you guys something here on the, just want to show you guys what the NASDAQ basically, all the NASDAQ does, it's the same for the S&P 500. It basically moves in segments of 500 pips. It does break and retests. So if we look at this price handle here as well, we can see at this 14.5 how NASDAQ did a break and retest of 14.5. If we go further down again, if we go now to 14, if we just mark out 14 over there, we can also see how NASDAQ, looking back, we can see this 14,000 barrier or price handle was a resistance. And what it does is it will break, retest, and then carry on because it's so bullish. But you can see it basically moves in segments of 500 pips. We can see over here it was breaking, but it was battling to break this price handle, but it broke above, and you can clearly see it's rejecting now this 15,000 price handle. So what I did was I came down to the 30-minute time frame, and as you know, the S&P has already made all-time highs, as I showed you in at the other chart. So we can see this clear divergence, all these wick rejections. So to me, it was definitely rejecting this 15,000 price handle. So then what I did was I got in at the right over here. I think roughly around this area right over here, I actually got in. And then basically what happened was, so basically what I did was I entered here, and then I went in with low risk. You see what NASDAQ and all these indices, all they really want is for you to handle a little bit of drawdown before they take off. So you gotta go in with low to medium risk. Like, I went in here with low risk and price went in my favor. And then the next day they did a stop hunt here. It was also the CPI numbers that came out during the New York session. So they basically try to manipulate the market a bit with the CPI numbers, which were, I think they were equal. So actually on Thursday evening or Friday morning for me, it was the CPI numbers and the initial jobless claims. So if we come here to the economic calendar, you can see over here that the CPI was positive and the initial jobless claims was pretty much equal. So there were hardly any new jobless claims and benefits numbers that were going up. So your economic calendar here will actually show you all these numbers and all that, but you can see the numbers were pretty much there was positive. It was pretty much positive overall. But with the news, what normally happens is the price will always go in the opposite direction of the news. Normally it's a fake out. And what they did was here they used the jobless claims and the CPI numbers to just do a stop hunt to the lows to take out everyone here, whoever was over leveraged. Because what these market makers do is they stop hunt people who have accounts that are over leveraged. That's why I never trade with high risk. That's why I went in here with lowish to medium risk. I was in profit the next day. I held the trade. I thought it was going to shift up from here, which it didn't do initially. Well, it did push up, but then the next day it came. They did a stop hunt. They used that news to do a fake out, basically a stop hunt, to take out people in the retail world who are over leveraged. And then they just shifted the market up. I saw the price was shifting down, but because I knew the S&P 500 was moving up, if we look at the S&P 500, we can see on Thursday it just carried on going bullish. So I was looking at the S&P 500, and this was also a bit of a stop hunt that they did on actually at the same time on the S&P 500. But I could see that it was making higher highs and it was super bullish. So I confidently held this trade, and then after I saw it actually turned, I saw this red pin bar, and then this candle was moving very quickly, but I just held on, and I ended up with making about 4 to 5% on my account, and I'm still in this trade. I'm still holding it. And I well believe that the NASDAQ is probably heading up now to it's most likely heading up to the 15.5. Let me just go to the daily time frame. We can see that the NASDAQ has broken now above the 15,000 level. And it's most likely going to be heading up to this 15.5 level. This is probably the next target. We can see if we look at the S&P 500, we can see this is also respects round numbers. So we can see here that it broke. Where's this 44? Yeah, so this one goes every 100 pips. We can see here that the S&P 500 is also broken above the 44,000 price handle, and now is most likely heading up to the 4,500 price handle. So basically, I'll just take you back to the MT4 charts. So we can see here on Thursday, the NASDAQ just carried on going bullish, and you can see the NASDAQ is clearly going bullish. I've entered at around this region over here. I have taken partial profits. I've closed off about 60% of my position, and I'm leaving about 30 to 40% of my trade to run as a bonus lottery ticket to possibly go up to the 15.5 price handle. So I've gone pretty much away now from trading currency pairs. I'm trading a lot of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ now, primarily the NASDAQ, because if you look at the daily time frame, even the weekly time frame, you can see how super bullish this market is. This is the type of market that investors and all the big players come in and put their money into. And I've shown you guys a few videos in the past where I've been trading these big pullbacks and getting back in on the NASDAQ. All you need with the NASDAQ is to use low risk and to basically wait for one of these nice pullbacks, even on the H4. You can see it does nice little pullbacks, and you can get back in and just go in with low risk, and then you can just hold the impulses. So you wait for a nice correction. If we look over here, we can see it how it does corrections. So it does a correction and an impulse. Correction, impulse. Sometimes it does a major correction, then a huge impulse. Major correction, huge impulse. And what it does is basically does those break and retests of these major round numbers, these key levels. So you know, instead of, you'll find with currency pairs that if you're battling with currency pairs, and the reason why I've pretty much gone away from currency pairs is because you'll find that currency pairs are always ranging. They're always sort of in a range, and they will break out and trend. But you know, trading's all about getting the highest probability and finding direction. And the nice thing about the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 is that you already know the direction is pretty much bullish. You know, so that's already one of the probability factors that are in your favor. Instead of worrying about trying to constantly trying to find the direction of whether the market's going up or down. You know, with currency pairs, you're constantly trying to fight that factor or find direction. You know, find which way is this market going, and you're constantly fighting the market basically. But if you trade these indices, I mean, they're 95% of the time they're going bullish. All you need to do is go in with low to medium risk and wait for one of these big pullbacks and just get in with low risk and just ride it out. So the strategy that I teach you in my course basically shows you exactly how to find these lows, how to actually find the end of the corrections and get back in just as the impulse starts. Okay, so that's what my strategy actually teaches you. It's all in my course. It's the link to the courses down below. But yeah, I just hope that that video helped, guys. So just if you trade correlation, just basically if you trade correlation on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, if you just look at what the price does, one will lead the other. Either the NASDAQ will be in front or the S&P 500 will be in front. So you just got to see which one is leading, and then you got to look at the other one that's behind, that's falling behind, and basically look for a setup on the one that's going to follow through. So, you know, the one that's actually going to follow the one that's leading. So I hope this video helped, guys, with correlation and how to profit from correlation on these indices. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.